So hello, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this is another session in our Godbound campaign. This is our second full session after our session zero. Last time we checked in with all of our characters. This is, as I said, the third arc of that campaign, so our characters have gotten significantly more potent and puffy. And last time, they were talking about the threats that were facing them, and kind of because of the arrival, the return of some characters that had been some NPCs that had been captured by forces in the land to the south. They returned with their characters aged up significantly, a little bit to Tasso's shock there. And so that is kind of what we are taking up in the background of, with that kind of hanging over us as we start today. So I won't go over lines of veils. We know what that is. We've got our NPC thing. The one thing I do want to mention, so there might be combat today. If there is a combat today, I haven't played this for a while. I haven't run this for a while, so we're going to take some baby steps getting into the combat, remembering how it goes, just because it is a little unusual, a little different. Also, I accidentally turned on Windows Mail today when I didn't mean to, and it's decided that it's going to just put alerts right in my screen. So if you see me go like this, it's because I haven't yet figured out how to turn that off. But there we go. So we are taking up with that. And what you know is this, is that in the area to the south, which is known as Gesnia, the city of Niharik is the sort of imperial capital of that land. They are the ones that have authority, dominion, I say that loosely, I put air quotes on that, over your island. And you have done some things to negotiate with them, and you've also done some things to cause problems to them. But what has become apparent is that there are a set of Dominion angels that have taken over sort of the court and authority there in Niharik. They have been training children, young adults in the powers of sorcery. And what you've discovered is they have been playing with time itself, accelerating the passage of time within that space. Our two characters who returned are Dala and Dalak. And there is still one more person, Nuan Lao, who went to look for them, who is at this moment unaccounted for. So that is kind of where we are taking up at the start here. Ransom, you are kind of the leader, the captain of this particular ship. Would you like to start with a meeting of the group, or would you like to start with giving everybody a chance to kind of do a once around, talk to people, ask questions, do things, and then bring them together? What would be your preference?
Think it might be beneficial to do a group and then do the go out and get answers once we maybe have a concerted idea.
Absolutely. Okay. So we see the five of you gathered around. At this point, Dala and Dalak have returned to their rooms. But if you
I
have
had
questions,
put them up my sleeve in
oh, that's
stasis.
right. That's right. You put them up your sleeve. I apologize. So yeah, so that's what we take up as with the five of you uh, talking sort of in the fallout of this.
Well, my friends, it is clear that something must be done, and we can't continue to allow these angels to amass. There's no telling how many sorcerers. I personally don't really know the extent of the powers that sorcerers can have, but I have heard legends of them, and they can almost rival godlike powers if I'm correct. How do we think we can best affect this, and is there a way we can avoid or at least mitigate some of this time dilation? There's no telling what would happen if we disappear for 10 years or however long. Um, any thoughts?
Well, if they're spooling time, then it is creating a lot of tension somewhere. Um, the one of the questions is did the seasons there move more quickly, or were they going for 10 springs before the next one showed up, or something like that? Um, you know, because they would have to have a lot of food stocked up. It is the time dilation only in the capital, or is it
The time dilation appears to be only occurring in the capital.
okay? So they might be able to bring things in at a rate. There should be a spring back that occurs. However, none of us are particularly good at time.
I have some means of shielding from magical effects, but something of this level, I don't know how much I could do. Um,
Well,
Eventually.
and
Oh, sorry.
if
Go ahead.
we're not falling into the same time as them, wouldn't they then be moving faster than we could see, faster than we could react to?
If we're in the area, we would be moving at that speed as well, correct?
I believe he was mentioning if I were to shield us from the time effects. In which case, then perhaps you might be right. If we are in a bubble of normal time and they're whipping around at whatever the hell they're doing, who knows? Um, Evetro, is there anything that you can, even from this distance, learn about the effects that are going on?
Um, Probably. I would really like to speak with the siblings because I feel like they have experienced this firsthand and may be able to give us some clue about the level of power that we're dealing with and the understanding.
I can
Um,
certainly bring them in and out as needed.
I also feel like I'm also inclined to ask a librarian for as much information as they can muster at the library on time manipulation. Um, I am trying to think of a question that Evidro might come up with to ask about time. Uh, my inclination is to ask, do the angels have complete control over time, or is this something that they are experimenting with? Are they playing with a ticking time bomb? It's kind of
Yeah. So, which of your words you're using. This is the unveiled truth.
Yes.
Okay. So we're kind of out of scene, so you don't have to worry about the commitment of effort in this. Uh, uh, but I think you will expand your senses. The knowledge comes to you. Remind us of like what does it look like when Evedro reaches out to know things? Do you just know it, or is there something that Evedro sees, or is there something that we see when you do that?
I think I think it's evolved, and I say that because I don't remember what I said before, but what I'm saying now is that his eyes glow with the brilliance of the sun. Uh, and so he sort of closes his eyes to concentrate. When he opens them, it's just sort of bright sunlight coming through as he's sort of looking afar to gain the knowledge.
So I think what you can tell is what the angels are doing is very directed. It's actually very limited in terms of what it's doing. They can't go back in time. They can't change the speed of time within the area that they're working with. What they are doing is they are brute force speed running this. They are accelerating time within that space to catch them up, and it's potent, but it is very like that's what they can do. They can't like target a person and age them. They can't vary those times. That what all they've done is they've created this zone that in which time is passing significantly faster.
And the zone is in a specific place in the capital.
It is
Or
the capital itself and
it's the
a range of span beyond it, but not that far. You suspect there may be some kind of like mundus engine or some mechanical thing, part of the old sort of theocratic god wars between the sorcerers and the gods before. There's a lot of that machinery left around. They may be utilizing that as a focus, which would explain why the area is as delineated as it is. Just to remind everybody, like a lot of cities that have the aged back to the time before the gods fall and things like that have old engines and things. Some of them are called just mundus wards, which means that they are protected from like you using dominion on them. At a distance. But some of them have pieces, engines, old things. For example, the first city that the group went to had some weird magical protections on it that the group messed with and caused some problems. They put a curse in the machine that was working the city.
One of the orders here, in particular, goes after magical beings. Is that not correct?
That is correct.
Well, perhaps we should invite one of their grandmasters to see if they know anything of angels.
So if I recall correctly, I'm trying to remember, I think it is the ochre that deals with magic, that deals with magical people and beings and things like that. And I believe it is the Azure that deals with sort of people. And then, of course, there's the other guy, Faird, who deals with concepts. So yeah, will speak, and Temple Durjaya, the senior of Ochre, will come down. Once again, when she arrives, she places herself as far as possible without being rude or obvious away from Darius. And she will say, Captain Ransom, you called? What is it that I can do for you?
We have been informed that a fallen angel has taken over the city of the city. And we were wondering if perhaps in the archives or to your knowledge, you could inform us of what angels, fallen angels in particular, what they may be like, what their weaknesses or strengths may be.
Keep in mind that angels are constructs. They are things created by, and I mean this by no offense, by divinities older than yourselves. They are created and tasked with a set of orders and purposes and such. Uh, they are driven by those. It is very difficult for them to break away from the programming. When the gods were destroyed, many angels were tasked with particular projects. We know this, some of them minor projects, but in some cases, projects of revenge, projects of destruction. They're the final great weapons left over from the gods' war, and they're intelligent weapons.
But in these tasks, they are sort of forced by nature to continue at them. It defines them in many ways.
That is who they are. That is what they are.
Perhaps finding out what this particular angel's purpose, drive, nature is could give us some leg up.
There's a possibility. We have dealt with a few angels in the past, but singular angels, small angels, ones that were often set to tasks that had been left running that people disagreed with. I think the last one that we destroyed was one that was building a dam in the far western area, and it kept building that dam until it cut off all of the water from an area south of it.
I see.
They are powerful things.
Threadless, if it is through a divine machine that they are doing this time effort, it would fall most likely to you to be able to disrupt or destroy it.
Or correctly myself and Ansani.
Yes.
She sort of stops though, and she's kind of like, so you did touch on the purpose. As I understand it, in the God Wars, it was sorcerers who brought down at least the initial set of them, and carried on most of the campaigns. They are the ones who made the night roads.
Yes.
So in teaching sorcery, the question would be, do they plan to prevent or stop other gods that might spring up? Or is it some sort of defensive set of sorceries? I do not know. Because I can think on it. I don't know much about angels. I have never seen one in the sense of as a machine. So I'll have to think upon that. And she'll kind of look at a Vedro and say, have you come upon any texts in the library of that sort? And she sort of looks and she says, it is made up of 5 or more divine libraries. So there might be a few manuals about making an angel.
I'm certain that there are, and probably on these machines as well.
Mhm.
I would like to direct the librarian to conduct research on this.
Absolutely. You can speak to them and they will set people to that task. Probably someone from the Ochre will oversee that because that's kind of their purview, and will assist with the researches there.
We could get some eyes inside of the city to let us know what's going on, some idea. Surely the people there are disturbed by what's going on, or at least have some anxieties. Tassos, could you reach to their nightmares to get some idea? And Darius, you are a traveler and well familiar with cities. Is there a way for the 2 of you to look in on the people there? If I can help perhaps obfuscate you in some way, I would do that.
I have had trouble reaching my dreams all the way across Gesnia. This explains some of that.
Keep in mind
Perhaps
that like time is passing very rapidly in there. So any nightmare, any dream is happening in the blink of an eye.
There is some leeway in the nature of dreams and time, but it would be fleeting. I would definitely need to get closer to start reaching into the zone, if that's at all possible.
Darius, do you think maybe if the 2 of you combined some of your efforts, or even the 3 of us, we could get even snapshots, moments, even if we could just catch glimpses within, it might be a great help.
I'm sure I can find a way.
The benefits we have is that we are a unit together. We can be stronger than any one opponent as long as we cooperate. Let us draw upon each of our own talents, but let us use them in concert together. Does anyone have any other thing, or do we feel like we have a thought towards trying to do something actionable?
Did make
Or
some
any
agreements.
questions?
We did make some agreements with them. We might want to review those. And how should we say, be cautious about breaking our word.
Yes.
Yeah. Luckily, at this point, the one agreement that was kind of put in place was for you to, pay the most token of tribute but also agree not to get involved in the affairs of Arwenshah, the country to the south. That's the basics of the agreement that you had.
And we don't even really have an idea of the attitude of the rest of the country to this angel city. They may not be particularly delighted by that either, right?
You don't know.
We don't know, right? We don't know. We could find that the entirety of the country would be an ally.
Well,
Of course, then again, we may not.
I'm
The
noticing
problem is
among-
that a lot of the countryside right now is going through some turmoil.
A lot of nightmares.
Nightmares and fighting nightmares and a drastic disruption, especially in the north, of the social and cultural order.
well, I'm noticing among our NPCs Vishant Kalada Ebkarna, who is the Gesnian ambassador. I assume they hang out on.
They were the one that came. Remember, they came
Yeah.
to speak to you, but then they went back.
They went back, so they're not hanging out
No.
here.
The only other thing that I could even guess at as a potential interest would be we do have our, I suppose, friends is the way to describe them, in the West. I know that at least one of them is very capable about cities. The others are fearsome fighters. It is something to keep in mind if we can see them as an asset to assist us in this.
And I will also remind you that that is part of Darius's portfolio.
Which is why I kind of
Right.
brought up as Darius doing things too.
Okay.
But, you know, that was one as a mind thought of, okay, we know that one can at least do something in here. Anybody who pops up an idea from one of those people, if you have something, sound it out. But as is, seems we all have independent research we should do. And we must, of course, keep the twins in our mind. Vedro, if in your investigation of the two of them, or Tassos, if your investigation, if we discover there is something in particular within them, and we don't think its removal will kill them, I can make the attempt to steal it. Just a thought. If there's nothing further,
Can you produce the siblings so we may speak with them?
of course. And
They will pop out as if no time has passed for them.
Ironic.
all right.
And they'll kind of look around like,
Godspeed.
how long has it been?
It has only been a few hours, even perhaps even only a couple.
Hungry.
And they pause and they say, yes and no. We have fed ourselves, as Tasso's taught, on nightmares to curb our hunger, but it has grown deeper.
How about some nice regular food? Does that seem like it might help?
One will not know until one tries, she says.
I will arrange that. And she'll sort of stand up, bow to the others, and leave the room.
And these two children, like now late teens, young adults, will turn to you, Darius, and will go. And the thing that strikes you is the sort of identical affect that they have. So very much think the two girls in The Shining, and they look at you and they go, "We don't know you. Who are you?"
My name is Darius.
Darius may have the seed of a dark apocalypse growing inside of them.
Welcome to the family.
So maybe I misunderstood. Did they age or did they not age?
They did age.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
They were like 11 or 12, and about 10 years has passed for them. So
Okay,
they're
okay.
like young 20s right now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, got it.
And as far as we know, they've lived that time, right? I mean, they've lived
That's what
10
they implied.
years.
We lived in that time. Yes. We were alternately spoken to and given some room to act, and then other times we were held. They did not seem to understand exactly what we were.
Fair. Who was it holding you?
The monarch would come and see us sometimes, but otherwise he would assign one of the other 8 angels to keep watch on us.
Monarch is one of these angels?
The monarch is the leader of these angels. He is their supreme angel.
Because of my word bureaucracy, I can sort of see and understand networks of people, and I'm sort of curious as to whether the siblings have been sort of integrated into this court, essentially, or what role they play in the system of the court.
Let me tell you what you can probably pull out of the talking to them. They were clearly kept isolated and watched for a time uh, uh, until they were freed and made their way out. And the sense you get is that this supreme monarch angel has a group of 8 angels beneath them, and each of those angels controls a part of the city, but more importantly, each one of them has a division of the civil bureaucracy, and importantly, has a cadre of students. And I think you get that sense, like there's a weird sort of set of like cascading down things, and from what you're feeling in terms of the bureaucracy, those students that are being taught sorcery are integrated into that network.
And
What is it? Sorry, good.
I just wanted to clarify, in that, as far as I can tell, the siblings are not. They were students, or they were
We were kept as prisoners.
labyrinths. Yeah.
We were treated well, but we were kept as prisoners.
Sorry, Patrick.
Do you know what it is they feel they need all these sorcerers for? This extreme effort?
We know that they provide for everyone in the city. The angels do. And then that they send out from there the civil servants who take care of things in the countryside. We know that the children are given the opportunity to learn sorcery, and that learning sorcery means that their family and their household will be treated well and better than others. But as for the purpose, we could not say.
You're muted, Tyler.
I would ask the two of you. You have spoken of a call that is within you, that you hear.
The dark jungle, the roots of the world where corruption lies and the death of everything. It calls to us.
I would like to try something, purely to see if this helps quiet it.
This is not something I think you should toy with lightly.
It would be something, and it would affect, honestly, it would affect us all if I did it. But would still the mind from influence from others. Do you think that is dangerous, Tassos? I will certainly bow to your wisdom on it.
No, you had spoken of deeper meddling before. That seems a safe precaution.
So tell me what it is you're going to do here, Tyler.
I'm going to do a miracle.
Okay.
And
keeping in mind that miracles only last for a scene.
For a scene. I want to see if it works.
Okay.
To test it. And from there I can begin working more. This would only work for a scene, even if it wasn't a miracle.
Okay.
But you see me sort of stand a bit straighter. And as I kind of reach down towards my cutlass, leave these to be. You have no powers here. And there's this sort of moment you see, like there's a breeze, my hair sort of moves, I look bigger, more impressive, as I'm using my leadership, a miracle, to imitate the leadership power, Heart of the Lion. I give an invincible defense against fear and all unwanted emotion-affecting effects. It'll affect everybody here within 100 yards, but I just kind of want to see if it has any effect on what's happening to them.
I don't think it does, because Tassos has wrung the emotions out of them to protect them from this. And they don't react in an emotional way to this thing. There is no fear. There is no worry in them whatsoever about this, which is what you would lift off of them. And I think you'll feel that. You'll feel that this is part of who they are now.
And it's not even like a mind-affecting thing at this point. It's more ingrained beyond that.
Essentially, let me have you make a wisdom check.
Okie dokie. A roll. My wisdom is not horrid. Okay. 1d20. I rolled a 10.
Well, a 10. So that's 23, so that's enough. The thing is that it is not a mental thing, it is their soul itself.
Gotcha. Well, all of y'all feel like fear just disappeared, baby.
Tassos, you feel very uncomfortable.
I feel like I'm being asked to leave.
But feeling that this is not, I sort of, sadly, it is beyond what I can do.
And I think that when you say that, that uh, uh, Dilak will reach out and will say, "Do not be sad, Ransom. It is inevitable."
What is inevitable?
The end of all things. We know it and we have seen it, and thanks to Master Tassos, we do not fear its coming.
I'll give a look over to Tassos. I do not believe that the end of all things is inevitable. There is always hope.
And they'll look at Tassos as
A
if to
lack of
say, is that true?
a lack of fear is not the same thing as acceptance or invitation.
Is there
Wait.
always hope, Tassos?
Future is unknown. There are infinite ways. Fear leads us into and out of danger.
I think they will note that you have not answered the question, but they will nod.
Yeah, and I think Silas is sort of comes back. She has food for them. She's got a couple other people carrying things, so they bring soup and bread and some meat dishes like cold meats and relishes and pickles to have with them. So things that have strong flavors and things that have sweet flavors and lots of yeah.
I think the one break kind of in all of this is that after you kind of bring the food there, that Della will, or Dala will come to you, a kind of look and will say, "Are there any noodles?"
There are always noodles. They're cooking them right now. That would come. I asked for broth and 3 sauces.
Good.
See? Hope.
Noodles and hope. So let's come to Threadless. What I want to come to you and then check in with Darius and Tassos, then Evedro, and then back to Ransom, kind of the order I want to do this in. So Ransom has said, this is the project. This is what we want to do. You have some time to go and look on things or prepare things or consider things or ask things. So what do you wish to do?
I think the first thing that I do is I go and, I essentially say to Sonic, well, it looks like we've got to figure out how to break some things. Big things. I know you have all the best instincts, but have to figure out what it is so we don't cause, I should say, ripples that we don't want to have happen.
So no ripples in the destruction.
Oh no, there'll be some. I just don't want you to, like, get tossed halfway across the country while we're in the middle of it. That would be unpleasant.
I would come back.
I know. And I would
Okay.
be heading towards you. We'd probably meet in the middle, but it would still delay things. So let's go figure these things out.
All right. And so what is it you want? What is your intent here? What would you like you to know here? What would you like to do?
So essentially what it is she wants to find those books, the books that are maybe about the basics of constructing angels, and literally make a few practice ones to figure out like how they work and that sort of thing. Because this sort of divine machine, she doesn't have that sense yet of it, so she needs to understand more like what the purpose was, and maybe see a few examples before she would feel like that she wasn't going to cause a disaster.
Okay. What word are we using here?
That's a fine question. I mean, probably artifice.
Okay.
It's for making non-magical things, but because she figures she has some she has some divinity, she can probably figure out an angel. Maybe a little one, maybe a very simple one, but one. But read the books first.
Okay. Let's have you make an intelligence check.
Okay. I did not roll my luck roll.
Please roll your luck roll.
Okay. And I can't remember, do we roll high or low?
You want to roll high.
Oh, I just rolled a 19 for my luck roll.
You have a 19 there.
Okay.
So your intent is to kind of build it. This is a thing that's going to take a while to do. But I think you can consider this that for the moment, we can establish a fact if you
Okay.
have some room for facts
I
in your
can make
thing
a
right now.
room facts. Yeah.
Essentially like angelic blueprints.
Ooh,
Does that seem
sounds
like a
delicious.
fair thing to say?
Yes. So how many facts can I have?
Let me see. You start with, let me,
I have origin, past, relationship.
I believe you start with 3 facts, and then you get 1 per level after that.
Ooh, that means I have,
So you would have 6 plus 3, you'd have 9 facts.
okay. I definitely like angelic blue.
Okay.
Okay, insert a row.
Darius, what are you up to?
That is an excellent question. I was looking through potential gifts I could use, and one of them gives me an idea, but it requires me to know someone in the city to use it.
You would have to dispatch someone out to the city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which sort of defeats the purpose.
On the other hand, you have a workshop of assassins who are at you and your fellows beck and call.
This is true. Yeah, so what I was thinking about taking here, because I have a ton of points that I have not used to take stuff. is you can speak to or eavesdrop on any person within any city, provided you have met them. I'm not really sure that would be any more helpful than just like sending someone and having them come back.
Does give you a little more direct perspective. The problem being, of course, that once they're in there, they're going to be operating on a different timeline.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Which, like I said, that's not super helpful. Don't have any immediate ideas. What can I do?
I mean, sort of the because I was thinking about potentially sending in some people too, and sort of the benefit there from a managerial / leadership standpoint is that like they're getting caught in the time speed and we're not.
Right.
You might be able to work out some sort of like miracle on top of that power that would let you sort through or unspool some of their impressions, see things or hear things that might be useful.
Actually, let's see. Yeah, I think that's an approach that just doesn't make sense. Like the whole sending someone so that I can eavesdrop them on them, like,
If you want to just try and use your miracles to kind of read the impressions of the city and pick up what you can from that.
Yes, that's kind of what I want to do. I do not understand how miracles work. I
so basically
somehow
what it
completely missed that part of the book.
Yeah. You can do a miracle, which like if we were in a situation where time was important and things, like a miracle takes your effort and it's gone for a day. But if you have some time to spare, then it's really not an issue. And one of the things you can do with a miracle is you can solve a problem. You can find out information, you can solve a problem.
Cool.
But I do want a check for this, because this is kind of fighting against the Mundus wards and things like that. Actually, I take that back. You have that city power. So I think the Mundus wards are less less affecting on you. I know you have some of those things.
That was one I was going to copy into there.
What is it you want to do? Like, what is it you want from this casting of your senses out and the impressions that you're pulling back?
I want to learn like the purpose of all this, the intentions, like we're saying, like it's not
absolutely
don't know what they want to do with all of this, all of these magic users that they're training up.
Here is what they want. And I think you'll read through the city, you'll read through that. I think you've got something of a wedge given the sort of bureaucratic analysis that Evedra has done, and you reach through and you will come to read what has happened. And essentially, they are bringing these students in and they are teaching them the first circle of magic, which is probably all that they can know. Like they are still, even though they're sorcerers and even though they gain this power, they're still in and of themselves probably not that powerful. But what the angels are doing is they are putting these children into these courses, and they are working them hard. They are working them very hard. And then when the students are trying to keep up with the studies and are trying to keep up with things and trying to keep up with each other, then the angels come to them and say, "It looks like you're struggling. Would you like some help?" And the students say, "Yes." And then the angels bind the students through a pact to them and become their sorceress patron, and connect their power and their life force to them. Because what their plan seems to be is they are going to set all these sorcerers loose on the world, and they are very badly trained. They have not been trained in any safe methods of using magic. It is wildly irresponsible. And they plan to send out thousands of sorcerers out into the land with no moral teaching, no ethical compass, the influence of the angels, and terrible control of their powers. And they hope that that will destroy sorcery and people across the world.
Whole bunch of incompetent sorcerers. Okay, that's a plan.
They are
Yeah, I
making
will
a
relay that
mockery
information.
of the school system. Does that seem like a fair answer?
Yes, I'll relay that information. I'm sure Evedro approves of this.
You will hear this, Evedro. You will learn that the angels are destroying the foundations of the educational system in a very deliberate way. Let us take our first break, and we'll take 10, and then we will come back with the Vedro, Tassos, and Ransom. So take 10 and we'll be back. So, Evedro, you have set these scholars to the task of researches on angels and so on. What is it that you want to know from that?
Let me just talk through this out loud.
Sure.
We know that they are made, and that Threadless now has a blueprint for how to make an angel. And I think that's all we know, more or less. I am sort of curious. I don't know if Evedra's curious, but I'm curious if they're attached to a divine word of some sort that angels need to be. Are they making use of the raw materials left over from the death of the gods?
So I think one of the things you'll realize is that at the very least, that high angel likely is connected to the word of sorcery. Like that's at least that, which doesn't necessarily translate down to the other angels. They will probably each have a particular duty or focus that they will have probably access to a few gifts from a single one of the words. But the high angel probably has the greatest span and may have talents of sorcery from a couple of the tiers, which can be quite nasty. Wouldn't have access to the final gate, to the final tier of magics, but probably the first two. Why don't you make an intelligence roll for me? This ought to be easy for Evedro.
Yes, but not for Dan.
Not for Dan.
Oh, no, I rolled a 16
Okay.
plus something.
I think one of the things you'll realize in looking at that, and you said you were looking at that the information on the past and the city and things like that, is that the group that like was centered in Niharic, of the sorcerers that and theocratic engineers and things that put up the machines and the Mundus wards and things, were uh, particularly called the Order of the White Chorus.
These are the folks who put these machines together in the first place.
Yeah. So this is centuries ago. But during the war, or before that, when they had kind of figured out, oh, hey, we can steal God stuff and we can imitate how the gods do things, and we can build these machines to do that. The thing that strikes you is that there is a potential vulnerability to exploit to work with this, is that those angels and this city are working on incompatible operating systems. They are different machines. There's something clearly that's patching them together if they're utilizing the Mundus wards and the things to do what they're doing, but it is probably a kludge to get that to work. And probably, divine duct tape and wiring and things like that. And probably some badly written software to try and do conversion between the two systems. And that is a potential vulnerability to exploit, to defeat the Mundus ward, to stop this time thing from continuing on. Does that seem like fair info?
Yeah, is it the monarch who put that duct tape there, or is this just?
You suspect so. Probably he was overseeing the engineering of all of this.
That's great. I also wanted to send Temple to the city. I don't know if she takes orders from me, but
Do you go and ask, or do you go and tell her?
I actually offer her a miracle to help her do it. And the idea I had was, as long as she is in direct sunlight as the god of the sun, she is invisible.
She says, I like being invisible. That would be good. I will do this. I will be your advance point person if that is what you wish.
I really, really do.
Okay. Then I will set out this day.
Just stay in the sun. That's all I ask.
And she will pack her things up, and she will head out, using the various means that the assassins have for traveling quickly across the ocean, then across land, and making her way to the city. Tassos, let us come to you. One of the things that we haven't had a chance to do is for you to talk with Delak and Dala. I don't know if that's something you'd like to do.
Yeah. I think Tessos would want to give them time to sleep because they haven't actually rested. They just got, stuck in ransom sleeves. But after they've had time to rest for a while, yeah, he would go find them.
And they will say, Ransom seemed upset with us.
Ransom is worried, and I think experience on loud sailing vessels means his fear comes out angrily, loudly, definitely decisively.
All right.
He worries for you. We worry for you.
We are back now.
That's good. I wouldn't have sent you into that if we had no idea what was happening.
Oh, we had no expectation that you set us deliberately in there as a trap, and we never thought that.
Oh, good. So, were you imprisoned the entire time?
Yes. We were shackled with angelic chains, like leashes.
And how did you get away?
Oh, Nuan Lao took our place.
So she found you.
Yes, she spent years studying to find a way in. She worked her way up over the decade and eventually found an opening and transformed herself into us and got us free.
I'm just trying to think. Tassos would know, like, what's the time scale? How long were they gone, and how long did they say they were like traveling till we found them or got them?
So it has been about 6 months, and in terms of time of their perception is about 12 years.
How long has it been for them since they left the zone?
Just a couple of weeks.
So if we hurry, there may not be too much more time that passes forward. We need to make this quick.
Is that a question?
That was pondering out loud.
So not a question.
Do you have an answer?
No.
Oh, well,
But if you have a question, you are the one who saved us. So if you had a question, we would try to answer it.
what the people inside there, the dreams inside of there, what's happening to the dreamscape in there?
The angels owned that space. We could not see into it.
What did they want of you?
They plan to use this as a weapon against you? A
Oh,
trap? They said that they would eventually let us go and we will return to you, and that through that would be the doom of you. But that did not happen. Instead, we managed to escape, thanks to Nuan Lao.
Well, in most important aspects, it did happen, is happening.
Oh, but we are not the doom of you.
How are things with your doom?
We are inches away from what will come. This thing is within us. And unless that changes, that that dark jungle will spread.
What do you think that means for you?
A long pause there. And the girl says, Father, I don't understand the question.
This thing growing inside of you, what do you think the end point is?
Well, we will be gone, but we will live on.
I, even when it was smaller and fresher inside of you, it was too tangled for me to remove from inside of you. It remains so. But Ransom thinks he has ideas, ways that he might be able to pull it out or change its nature.
It is very hard for us because it so much is like you and it wants so much of what you want. Nightmares for the land, fear.
And it is hard for me to know the future because we all come of dark and terrifying origins. I don't know if taking this away from you is taking away something that was meant for you.
I was born in a hut. I don't think that's a dark and terrible origin. This thing,
I mean us, the whatever we are, walking this world now.
is that the we of you? Is that the we of you and us, or is that the we of you and your companions?
That really is the question.
Was that a question?
No, I'm saying oblivion may not be the only end to your path. I just don't know what the right end is.
And much like when she reached out to Ransom, she'll reach out and she'll put her hand on your arm and she will say, when we are gone, it will be all right because you will remember us and you will dream of us.
That is true, but when the when is still negotiable. If Ransom had a way, would you try it?
If you told us to, we would do whatever you wish.
And if I weren't there to tell you?
Then we would find you and ask you.
I will see what he comes up with.
As you say. It is good to be back. Are you happy that we're back?
Very.
Good.
You should speak to the cats. There have been interesting developments in the island and the country you might like to explore. Don't leave the island, though.
All right. We won't.
Good. Just don't.
I think we get that long, awkward silence there. There's a little bit ponderous, and then there's a kind of a, well, there it is moment. Uh, Ransom, let me come back to you.
Yes.
What is it that you want to do?
Did someone speak to me about going and talking to a crocodile? Did you do that, Threadless?
Oh, about, yeah. I think that there was mention of it from Hosk, and so, yeah, she probably would have stopped by and said, you might want to check in with the dead rolling. I haven't met him. Maybe you could introduce me one day, but you don't have to put that on top of this other thing. Just make sure that he's okay with Tassos' shrine.
Tassos' shrine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh dear. Oh, yes, it's been a while since I have spoken with him. I will endeavor to do that. Yes.
Okay. Do you need any gifts to take him?
If you have something, he's quite fond of bodies.
I could certainly provide, I don't know, some very sleepy rabbits of some sort like that, maybe?
I will certainly take them.
Okay. How about that?
And so with a bag of rabbits, I will head down to try and speak with Death Rolling.
Yeah. So you'll go down to the town and kind
I
of
suppose
whistle
I'll
up.
see the shrine.
Yeah, you'll see the rickety ass shrine there.
Hmm.
And you will go and look at the water, and one of the crocodiles will come up and will say, Ransom, may I provide transport for you?
That would be extremely kind. Thank you.
Climb down into the water and onto my back.
I will do so.
No hesitation, it says. That is appreciated. And it will swim upstream along that river, kind of, again, slightly out of reality, kind of into a little bit of mythic time there. And eventually you'll come to that kind of ponderous swamp land, kind of warm, and just the sound of the insects in the background. And there is the enormous crocodile, and it will greet you. Ransom, it has been too long.
It has been. I fear that there have been many, many things afoot since last we spoke.
World is in disarray and turmoil.
That is very true, Great One.
But you have provided a haven to others. We are friends of the gulls. It is a symbiotic friendship. So we appreciate them. And I'm glad that they and the others have found sanctuary in your
I-
place.
I am pleased as well, and as I had promised, the town has taken quite favorably to the burial of their dead within the waters. I hope that has also provided some help to you and yours.
It is fine. That is a delightful addition onto the occasional miscreant who slips late at night after a round of drinking.
Ah, the unwary.
There is a beast speaker now amongst you.
It is true. Darius, Darius is still a bit of a mystery to me, but they are a healer, a traveler, and one who is close with all beasts, as I can seem to ascertain.
We spoke with the Rat King, and he said that his people had spoken with Darius and found him delightful. Sorry, found them delightful.
If you wish, I could perhaps ask them to come and give you a visit.
As time permits, the world is in chaos.
It most assuredly is.
Now, we had an agreement
Yes, great one.
that you would respect my demesnes here, that you would respect my place in the town, and you would be permitted to place your shrine there at the tavern and your ship in the harbor. And outside of the town, outside of the spaces that I dwell here, that was to be yours and that of your companion.
Yes, great rolling death. I've been led to believe that one of my pantheon was unaware of the polite things that need to be done to follow in the footsteps that I began. I wish to come and request that perhaps he be given an opportunity to um, speak with you, and that perhaps be allowed. In fact, I saw it. I saw it on my way here. It at the very edges of the town, but still within your own purview. He has created a temple to the nightmares.
I am well aware of what he has done.
Yes. As I say, I do not think he did this out of disrespect or maliciousness. I just don't think he is alien to me in many ways, and I don't know if he understood your presence and your dominion.
It is the principle of the thing. I am an idea. I am a story. I am a myth. I am the thing that is. I and my kind survived the wars with the gods by adhering to rules and keeping to agreements.
Would it be possible, perhaps, for him to speak with you?
No, I have set the terms of our agreement. You have violated that agreement. you will make things right.
I see.
That is the simple way of things. If you do not wish to make things right, then simply tell me that.
I do wish to make things right. For our friendship, and because I believe it is the proper thing. I would ask, do you wish that this shrine be simply eliminated from its spot? Or would you perhaps like some inclusion into the nightmare aspects of it?
I have no desire to get up in, as they say, your business.
I see. Then I will.
There are many places along the stone steps leading up to the library that are a delight, that are outside of my depends, and that I would have no issue with. But again, it is the principle of the thing that no polite request was made.
I understand. And I hope that there will be complete understanding from his part once he realizes this. I will handle this. Great one.
I am sorry that it has put you in a difficult position.
It
However,
is. Yes.
those bunnies will go quite a ways to making up for that.
I shall, I'm glad to hear, and I shall inform the Lady Threadless that you enjoyed them.
If you are committed to removing the shrine, if that is what you are saying to me, you may have time to do that. Do that in your own time, as I know that you are in the midst of a war.
It is true, and I thank you for your patience.
We crocodiles have much patience. And he'll do that thing where he sinks below the water, just so you just see his eyes there.
I'll make my way back.
So, you have checked on these various things. You asked about this. You found out some things about the angels and their courts, and you have placed a person on the inside. And I do think that like Dan, if you do like reach out and contact, try to read impressions from Durjaya, it is just, it's a scatter montage because time is moving so much faster in there. But you can certainly get a sense of her presence in there and use that as an anchor.
And if you do want to communicate with her while she's in there, I can send her dreams that would convey a fairly short message over the course of, I'm imagining, days or weeks.
How?
Basically.
The one person who might prefer to get messages from Tassos.
Yeah. So how do we want to proceed? Is the plan to go to Niharik and break through the barriers to confront the angels?
I think ultimately that's what it has to be. And I think we really have to get close. At this point, we need to be closer in most everything we're going to do.
I have a meta question, Lowell.
Absolutely.
The Mundus wards,
Uh-huh.
is that something that would interfere with us on a like personal active level, or is that just a Dominion sort of level?
So it works against your Dominion. Like you can't, it makes it harder to apply Dominion. It also has a certain amount of kind of resistance and protection to keep you out. However, Darius's word does have as one of its options the ability to kind of suppress that.
Yeah, I have to actually be there. But once we get there, I can decrease its strength by my character level.
Yeah. Conceivably, Darius can not only get you inside, but potentially get you inside without them being aware that you've come in, because the Mundus ward is not just a ward of protection, it's an alarm.
Yeah, I was looking through some of the city stuff since we're talking about even looking at those city powers are crazy.
They're fun. They're one of my favorite dumb things. That and the network one that Dan kind of built some stuff off of too. So does that seem like the next step?
I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah, it's
All right. Okay. I think we're going to stop here because I do want to start us out. And I don't have a gauge because we haven't played Godbound for a while, how long the fight will take. But just as a preview for you, I'm going to share something with you. So I've set up an Owlbear Rodeo map.
I'm sorry. What?
I've set up an Owlbear Rodeo map. You'll see a link in the chat. I want to do this just to test this out. If you click on the link, I will admit you. Can you?
Oh, nifty.
Can you see the map?
Yes.
So I've
And I
got,
can move my icon.
yeah. So I've got some.
Ooh.
Whoa.
So I've got a big spectacular temple. I've got some angels. I've got some sorcerers, and I've got tokens for all of you. So I would like to try this out next time if people are okay with giving this a go.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
yeah.
Is this
I have
basically a
been meaning to try
miniatures?
out this at some
Yeah,
point.
basically what I want to have something that gives us something
Oh, I see a
spectacular.
grid.
But also, yeah, there is a grid. Basically, so that you can kind of know roughly your rough spatial relationship to other people, rather than any kind of measurements or anything like that. But this is something that Anya Reyes showed us. It's a free piece of software. You can have up to 2 rooms for the free thing. And it's pretty good. It allows you to upload things, and it's a pretty simple tool here. If anyone happens to be watching this, I actually let me share the screen just so people can see what it is we're talking about here. But this is the first time I've used this, and it's a little bit easier to use than Roll20, and there is a die roller in it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been playing a OSR mecha game with this. Plus, of course, I have all these maps from various Patreons and things and
Yeah.
lovely tokens. You may recognize the sorcerers are images taken from the like night boats, the flower liches, just because I happen to have those tokens and I love the way they look. So,
Super neat.
yeah. Yeah, so that's what we'll try next time, just to give us a little bit of something to help us control, uh, you know, where positions are, and to give us a little bit of play off with that. If that sounds cool with everybody.
Yeah.
If we're planning on our head being forward before we end and leave tonight,
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask Leisha if she wants to go or stay, especially with the potential that it could be a very long separation.
Would be long for you, but if she stays here, not for her.
That's true.
She will say, I will stay on the ship. You will not be taking the ship there, but I know that you will keep it close by, and I will keep watch upon it, because everything there will remind me of you.
I have something to ask you, and I believe we have become extremely close, and this may seem somewhat awkward, but I love you, and I feel that some commitment is deserving in that.
Don't know what it means to be in love with a god, but I'm willing to figure that out.
I would give you a gift if you would accept it. You should come in with full knowledge. It would extend some of what I am to you. It would change you somewhat. It would take some of whatever this divinity is mine, and it would place it in you.
Would this be safe for you?
It would be very safe for me, and it would mean that a piece of my heart is where it most desires to be.
I think we're going to cut there. Sound good?
Excellent.
So we'll do stars and wishes next time after we do the fight, because we'll kind of follow up on that. But I definitely want to one of the things I want to go. I want to get us into the town, have a little chance to explore the town, see what it's while you're in it, and then get us to a big ass fight. So with all the god powers at your display and dispense. So. I think I'm gonna stop the recording there.